What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of NBA action here on Wednesday, February 12th. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight, and we're going to look at bets on the side and over-under, so make sure to check that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there's any changes as injury news and player availability is confirmed. Yesterday, guys, it's shaping up to be an okay day. Didn't have a ton we loved there in the pinned comment, only 3 games. We hit the Pistons -4.5. They absolutely destroyed the Chicago Bulls. That first half was crazy stuff. We've got the Grizzlies -4. That game's still going. They've got an 11-point lead there in the third quarter, so we're not counting our chickens before they're hatched, but it's, trending in the right direction at least. We also had Tennessee -2.5 over there on the college side. That one did not go well, so hoping the Grizzlies to come through. A 2-1 day is still a winning day, but we're expecting to have a lot more in the pinned comment here today, guys. There's a ton of games on this very crowded NBA slate, so do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate everybody that does that, and to show that appreciation, guys, if we can get to 1,000 likes on this video, we're going to give away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random commenter. So definitely hit that like button. Definitely get down there in the comments to give yourself a chance to win. Also, guys, if you are interested in purchasing these Stump the Spread hoodies, I've had a couple people reach out and ask if they could buy them. I'll try to arrange something like that. Just let me know in the comments if you're interested so I can kind of get a gauge on how many I should be trying to have made, so that way I can, work on getting them out to you. So we'll work on all that once I see how much interest there is down there. Do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel, guys. We just hit a pretty big number, crossing 47,000, so only 3,000 away from hitting that 50K mark. Once we hit that 50K mark, we are also going to be giving away another Stump the Spread hoodie. So get in there and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate all you guys helping me build such a nice community here. You can also now sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all of my videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. It really shows me that I've got a super fan out there, guys, and you do get a little bit of early access to these videos as kind of me trying to, find some way to show my appreciation for, my biggest fans out there in the community. All of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering the NBA, college basketball, UFC, and the NHL. If you're interested in checking that out, guys, click the link in the description to head to StumpTheSpread.com. If you're not sure if you want a premium package yet, don't worry about that, guys. We send out a free email newsletter pretty much every single day. It'll have at least one free pick in it. Sometimes it'll have more, and it will also have, updates on how our premium picks have been doing. So definitely get signed up for that. It's just free information straight to your inbox. Super easy to access all of that. Also, guys, comment below with any bets you're looking at today, anything else you want to ask me except for, letting me know if you want these hoodies. I get back to you as quick as I can. I know I'm way behind on comments right now. I apologize. I had family in town, and obviously I've got a newborn in the house. He's going to be in an intro pretty soon. He's sleeping right now, so I wasn't able to get him in this one, but he's going to be in an intro pretty soon so you guys can see how he's growing. Little guy, 3 weeks old, already growing like a weed. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the night. We've got an interesting one. We've got the San Antonio Spurs going on the road here to take on the Boston Celtics. The Spurs come into this game 23-28 on the season, fresh off a nice 131-121 win there at Washington. Obviously, that's a game you're supposed to win, and we saw a big game out there from Wemby. He kind of snapped out of a little bit of a funk, putting up 31 points, but against a terrible team like the Wizards, this isn't exactly a blowout win. I mean, 30 there from De'Aaron Fox. That's a great sign that he's starting to mesh. Him and Wemby both having very successful nights. Fox really made most of his noise, though, at the free throw line, so I'm not going to overreact to him having a good game. I think there's still adjustments that need to be made for these two to play together. Sohan played well off the bench. Castle continues to play really well, so we're liking what we're seeing right now from the Spurs. They shot 44% from 3. If you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games in the NBA. They come into this one fully healthy, so no injury problems at all for the Spurs. So they're going to be at 100% here, going on the road against, one of the toughest teams in the NBA. They're taking on the Boston Celtics, who've now won 2 in a row. A couple nice road wins, going at the Knicks and getting a blowout win and cover. We were certainly on the Celtics in that one, but the next one, guys, going on the road and taking on the Heat and blowing out the Heat, we were actually not on Boston. We were fading Boston coming off a win like we always do. Spoiler alert. But Hero ended up being a very late scratch in that game. So we got that one wrong. We did not have any reason to expect the Heat were going to be without their leading scorer. So that one, chalking that up to it, just a loss to the flawed NBA injury news system. So that's going to happen occasionally, but loved what we saw from the Celtics in that game. Honestly, Tatum played pretty well. 33 points there from him. Another very good night. He's playing great right now, and everybody else just kind of chipping in along the periphery. Peyton Pritchard actually had a terrible game by his standards. He was still a plus 17, but bro was only 2 of 9 from the field and scored 5 points. So Boston certainly play way better than they did against the Heat, but maybe they weren't, really pouring it on there against, a Heat team that was really, not at full strength there, obviously without their leading scorer. So looking at the Celtics injury report, we see Drew Holiday on there. We see Jaylen Brown on there as well. Drew Holiday, it's being reported he won't play until after the All-Star break, it sounds like. So he certainly won't play in this game at least. And yeah, Jaylen Brown with his knee issue is questionable for this game. I wouldn't be shocked to see them sit him out until the All-Star break either. He's dealing with some swelling. So yeah, definitely not a spot where they'd be, forcing him to get out there. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Celtics, they're 8.5-point favorites. We've got a total here of 232.5. The Spurs, 12-13 against spread on the road, 3-19 against spread after a win. The Celtics, though, guys, they're only 9-17 against spread at home, 8-28-1 against spread out for win. Guys, I know we got burned on the on that Heat pick, but we're still going to be fading the Celtics here. Give me the Spurs getting 8.5 points. I think they've got enough to keep this game close, especially if the Celtics aren't really at full strength. And, all these Boston guys are going to be looking forward to, getting out of town, getting either going on vacation or going to the All-Star game. So this is their last game before the All-Star break. So I think we're going to see a less than maximum effort there from the Boston Celtics. So definitely give me the Spurs in this one. This game has a great chance to end up in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Charlotte Hornets going on the road to take on the Orlando Magic. These are two teams who are also playing their last game here before the All-Star break. The Hornets come into this game fresh off a 97-89 loss there against the Nets, and yeah, they've lost their last two in a row, and things just aren't looking great. We saw that, trade fall through there and all kinds of weird stuff right now happening for Charlotte. In that loss against the Nets, things did not look great, and they were not putting their best foot forward, really. I mean, LaMelo played 10 minutes in the game, only 5 points. Just, it's a mess right now in Charlotte, guys. There's really no way around that. Miles Bridges, only 7 points in the game. It was a very depressing performance. So maybe these guys are just ready to go on the All-Star break, and I can't blame them too much because this is obviously a team that's going nowhere this season. And looking at the injury report, guys, Mark Williams listed as out. LaMelo Ball listed as out. Okogie still out. So this is going to be far from a full-strength team. Ball dealing with that ankle, guys, just not a great look. He just can't keep his ankle healthy, and yeah, I don't know, man. You got to get surgery, or you got to go on get surgery and go on whatever workout routine Steph Curry was going on, because your ankles don't work no mo, bro. You need to figure that out. So hopefully he can get that straightened out over the All-Star break or something like that. We'll see what the Hornets can do here going on the road to take on the Orlando Magic, who are fresh off a pretty rough run here. I mean, they just lost against the Hawks. They've been alternating wins and losses, but this team has really hit a rough patch. They've had so many injuries this year, so I cut them a lot of slack, but 26-29, not what they thought they were going to be going into the All-Star break. So they're going to add one more win or one more loss. You would hope for their sake it'll be a win, because they are 11.5-point favorites in this game. In that loss against the Hawks, guys, it was brutal. I mean, Franz Wagner put up 37 points in the loss. That's rough, guys. That is rough. We saw 31 from Paolo Banchero, but yeah, they just don't have enough in the periphery. I mean, KCP doesn't play offense anymore, or can't get any shots off. I don't know what the deal is, but the dude shot 4 times, scored 6 points. We saw Cole Anthony scored 7 points. Nobody on the bench scored in double figures. The only double figure scorers in this game for the Magic were Banchero and Franz Wagner. They shot 40% from 3, still losing this game. They ended up on the wrong side of the rebounding margin too. Just not a good look there for the Magic. And they come into this game healthy except for Jalen Suggs. Obviously, Mo Wagner, still out. But yeah, that was pretty brutal. But yeah, Jalen Suggs, guys, with that quad injury, he's doubtful for this game. I would say he's been out this long. You might as well just let bro sit out until after the All-Star break and hope they can come back after that rested, fixed, and ready to go. So looking at the numbers here, like we were saying, the Magic are 11.5-point favorites. We got a total in this game of 206.5, so a very low total. Charlotte 11-10-1 against spread on the road, 19-18 against spread after a loss. Orlando 14-11-1 against spread at home, but 10-17-1 against the spread after a loss. Guys, I think the Hornets are pretty much just ready to go on vacation here, so I will be shading towards the Orlando Magic at minus 11.5 in this one, but with this game so likely to be low scoring, I just don't think I can take a team here to, win by 12, at least 12 points. That just seems like a bit of a stretch, so it's not going in the pinned comment, but definitely give me the Magic here at minus 11.5. I think it has some value. I think they could win this game by 20 and just a dominant performance, but I just can't put it in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the Washington Wizards in another matchup of two teams that are, done until after the All-Star break. After this game, the Pacers 29-23 on the season, fresh off a 128-115 loss last night against the Knicks. Not a great look, guys. Not a great look. The Pacers definitely stumbling here, losing 3 out of their last 4 down the stretch. This is a team that came into the season with a lot of hype, and they have certainly not lived up to it. Siakam a constant. The dude is a monster. He's putting up those numbers, putting up those points. He's doing what he's supposed to do, but Halliburton, a terrible season. 16 points from him in this game, so he played okay by the standards that he's established this year, but the standard he established last year, nothing like this, guys. They're just not looking good. We saw great stuff off the bench from Mathurin, pretty good stuff from Shepard off the bench. There was, a big, stretch of time where we saw, TJ McConnell kind of carrying the load there offensively, but yeah, they shot 29% from three. They got crushed on the boards there by the Knicks. Just not a lot of positives to report here for the Pacers. Like, straight up not having a good time, and things have not really improved for them over the course of the season. Miles Turner did sit that game out there with his sore neck. We don't know if he's going to be back for this one or not. Yeah, sounds like he's going to be out through the All-Star break. So I guess we do know, and he's going to be sidelined. So no Miles Turner as they go on the road to take on the Wizards, who are fresh off of that 10-point loss we were just talking about against the Spurs. Obviously, Washington tanking it out as hard as they can, trading guys away there prior to the trade deadline, and yeah, just not a lot of positives right now. We saw all 5 starters for the Wizards scoring double figures there, so I guess that's something of a positive, but a terrible game there from Jordan Poole. 2 of 13 from 3, 4 of 18 from the field. Like, what is bro doing out there? Like, what did Draymond, steal his soul with that punch? Like, I don't know what's going on, but that didn't look good, and really nothing looking good right now for the Wizards. They're really not doing much in terms of, playing those guys they acquired via trade, and yeah, just not a lot of things pointing in the right direction. So we'll see if anything changes after the All-Star break. Obviously, this is a team that wants to lose games right now, so we can pretty much count on them to continue doing that. We have no reason to expect Middleton or Sarr or Marcus Smart to be playing in this game. Middleton, yeah, expected to make his debut after the All-Star break. Sarr, he's technically questionable for this game, so I guess he could come back. And Marcus Smart not going to be playing until after the All-Star break either. The Wizards, guys, getting 10 points in this game. We've got a total of 239.5. Pacers, 15 and 14 against spread on the road, 2 and 5 against spread on no rest, 12, 9, and 1 against spread after a loss. The Wizards, 12 and 15 against spread at home, 17, 24, and 2 against spread after a loss. Guys, I think the Wizards are just another example of a team that is ready to head off on the All-Star break. They haven't been playing very well down the stretch here. They did keep things relatively competitive against the Cavaliers, but I'm not reading too much into that, guys. Definitely giving the Pacers here at -10 and a bounce-back spot. But once again, guys, not a game that's going in the pin comment. I do not trust the Indiana Pacers right now at all. They could be ready to go on the All-Star break as well, and we could see a really, really sloppy game. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up for StompTheSpread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our top confidence plays on all the major sports. We're currently covering NCAA basketball, the NBA, NHL, UFC, and the NFL. We have a team of professional cappers that work extremely hard putting in the research on these games every day so you don't have to. We make things very easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list, get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free account. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now guys, back to the games. Next on the docket, guys, we have the Philadelphia 76ers going on the road to take on the Brooklyn Nets. The 76ers are fresh off a loss last night, a 106-103 loss there against the Raptors. We saw just an embarrassing display there by Embiid. He passes up the wide open three to just lose the ball as he dribbles it in. I don't know, guys. This Embiid situation is starting to look super untenable. We're seeing, all sorts of, news about him and things breaking. Reportedly, he's completely untradeable. Nobody would even want him at this point because he doesn't play enough games. When he does play, he looks like this. The dude's clearly out of shape. His knees are clearly messed up. There's just not a lot of positive things to say about Embiid and not anything positive to say about the 76ers except for Tyrese Maxey, who's been a monster all year. But he actually had one of his worst games. Actually, no, he had his worst game of the season. A -15, only scored 5 points out there. Embiid put up 27. Paul George continues to look terrible. 14 points from him, 5 of 12 from the field in 36 minutes. The dude just looks useless out there. I don't know. That's going to be one of the worst deals out there. The 76ers now have 2 of the worst deals in the NBA on the books. That's pretty impressive stuff. Jared Butler, Quentin Grimes, both actually played well off the bench, but you're not going to win very many games when you shoot 23.7% from three-point range and when your best player scores 5 points. So not a lot of great things to say about the 76ers. Embiid will definitely be out for this game. We don't have a fully updated injury report, but Embiid will certainly be out for this game, the second half of a back-to-back here. I would expect them to have pretty much everybody else, but things have not really been going great here down the stretch for the 76ers squad. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Nets, who have actually been playing great. They've won 5 out of the last 6 against some pretty, beatable teams. But I don't know, 2 wins there against the Rockets is pretty crazy. Getting that 97-89 win against the Hornets their last time out. Good stuff there for sure. Claxton played well, and it was a team win for sure. 4 out of 5 starters scored in double figures. Cameron Johnson's getting back out there. He's playing well. They did a pretty good job there on the boards, having a 7, edge there on the boards, and they did a good job defending the three-point line. They shot the ball terribly, though, only 10 of 42 from the field, so Not a good shooting night at all. They can definitely do better than that. D'Angelo Russell looking like D'Angelo Russell out there for sure. But yeah, we'll see what this team can do down the stretch. I think they're actually a little bit interesting. I don't know. Like, they're obviously not a team that's, incentivized to win as they're tanking it out, but we'll see what they can do. They come to this game relatively healthy. Claxton is on the injury report there, guys. He's dealing with that right ankle sprain, but it sounds like there's a chance he actually plays in this game, which seems a bit crazy. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's very much up in the air whether or not he plays. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason they would be rushing him out there, so that's obviously a pretty big deal if he doesn't play. Going to be more Adairon Sharp minutes. That's not the end of the world necessarily, so we'll see what things look like here. The Nets are getting 2 points here at home. We've got a total of 211.5. The 76ers, 10-15-1 against spread on the road, 4-5 against spread on no rest, and 10-21-1 against spread after a loss. The Nets, 10-15 against spread at home, 9-9 against spread after a win. Guys, this is a weird spot. I honestly want to side with the 76ers to get the bounce back win and cover, even though they're not going to have Embiid. Honestly, I think that hurts things. What I'm really banking on is Tyrese Maxey having a huge game. You want to take some overs on some Tyrese Maxey props, I think this is a great spot to do it. I don't really trust the defense of Keon Johnson or D'Angelo Russell to slow him down very much. So definitely give me overs on the Maxey props and give me the 76ers here at -2. Another play that's probably not going into the pin comment just because I don't trust them at this point, but definitely think that's where the value is in this game. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Atlanta Hawks going on the road here to take on the New York Knicks. The Hawks are actually playing well, guys. They've won 4 out of their last 5 overall. Some decent wins in there, beating the Bucks, the Pistons, the Magic. They've done some good things. Trae Young playing really well. He scored 11 of his 19 points in the fourth quarter there to help get that win against the Magic, and that was at Orlando too. So they continue this road trip taking on the Knicks. I mean, at the Magic, guys, Trae Young led the team with that 19 points, and it was a team win there. Dyson Daniels only 10 points, but he played really well. We liked what we saw from Ricochet in this game. We've got, Karis LeVert coming off the bench. He scored 18 points. That's a big scoring punch. Terrence Mann actually played really well. They won this game. They shot 37.5% from 3. That's not, an unachievable number at all. They did a very good job on the boards. This Atlanta Hawks team, I think they probably want to be losing, as a franchise, but these players, they're not going to be cooperating with that. And right now, it's just looking pretty good. The injury report looks okay. Trae Young is on there, so that's concerning, but he's always probable with that Achilles. So seems like we're going to have him play. And a starting lineup of, Young, Daniels, Ricochet, there's some good pieces in there, and that bench looks dangerous, guys. I mean, Terrence Mann, Karis LeVert is a elite level scorer, and Niang, not a bad piece to have in there either. So liking what we're seeing from the Atlanta Hawks here as they go on the road to take on the New York Knicks, who are 35-18 on the season, fresh off a nice 128-115 win there against the Pacers. They were at the Pacers, now they go back home. So from Indiana to Chicago, not a crazy flight, but they are playing on no rest. Cat's coming off a monster 40-point game. Josh Hart had 30. So yeah, we're seeing incredible stuff from this team in general, guys. I mean, you get all those minutes, you're going to put up some points, but still, nobody's just dropping 40 pieces because they're playing 38 minutes. That's because you're playing really, really well. Josh Hart, all the hustle plays, you guys know all about that. He was a +15. Cat was a +14. But in terms of the minutes played by the starters, guys, we saw Achua play 33. Mikal Bridges actually only played 29, but 38 for Cat and 40 there for Josh Hart. Only 23 minutes there from Jalen Brunson, which is a little bit concerning, but Bridges and Shamet both played amazing off the bench. That's not something you've been able to count on a nightly basis if you're a Knicks fan. So we'll see what goes on here. Not a fully updated injury report, unfortunately, since they just played, that game ended an hour or 2 ago. Anunoby questionable with that foot. We'll see if he comes back. I tend to think they'll just keep him out through the trade deadline, or through the All-Star break. I don't know why they would rush him back, really. Brunson, guys, only playing such limited minutes makes me very, very much, what's going on? What's going on? What's the deal with him? So we'll see what happens with Brunson and the injury situation right now for the Knicks. But looking at the numbers here, the Knicks are 8.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 240.5. Atlanta 15-14 against spread on the road, 13-12 against spread after a win. The Knicks 14-13-1 against spread at home, 2-5 against the spread on no rest. Those Thibodeau minutes build up, and they are on no rest. Things are rough. They're 16-17-1 against spread after a win. Guys, I think the Atlanta Hawks going into Madison Square Garden, I think they've got a chance to win this game. I won't be taking them on the money line. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to take a flyer on it, but I will certainly be taking the Hawks here. Getting 8.5 points, I think, is a very, very good value play. The Hawks are playing way better than we would have expected after the trades that they've made, and the Knicks guys are going to be very, very tired. Even, I know Brunson played limited minutes, but there's going to be a reason behind that, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, but definitely give me the Hawks in this game. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors. The Cavaliers come into this game 43-10 on the season. They're just cruising right now, guys. They won, 7 out of their last 8. Their only loss was a disappointing performance, albeit, but a loss there against the Boston Celtics. But they just demolished the Timberwolves. They got a good win against the Wizards, winning by 10. They won that super close game against the Pistons. So loving what we're seeing. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, both playing great in that win over the Timberwolves. Mobley looking like a monster. 28 points, 12 of 19 from him. Like, this guy is looking crazy out there. Mitchell, 23 points. Garland, 17. They all posted huge plus-minus numbers. DeAndre Hunter doing a decent job of integrating himself into the starting lineup. I'd like to see him get some assists. I'd like to see him move the ball a little bit more, but that's going to be a big adjustment for him. Ty Jerome playing great off the bench. Sam Merrill knocking down his shots. We are just loving everything we see from Cleveland right now. They dominated the boards in this matchup, and they played some really good defense out there against everybody on the Timberwolves not named Anthony Edwards. So loving what we're seeing from the Cavaliers. They continue to just look like one of the best teams in the NBA. Looking at the injury report, we see Max Strus on there and Ty Jerome. Okoro, apparently he's not going to be back here. There's no reason to rush him back. He'll be back after the All-Star break, it sounds like. Ty Jerome dealing with a calf issue. He's questionable for this game, coming off playing 24 minutes. I'll be kind of surprised that he doesn't sit this one. I'll be surprised if he sits this one out. Max Strus dealing with an ankle. He's questionable for this game as well. I'll be a little bit surprised if he sits this game out also. He didn't play against the Timberwolves, though, so there's a chance he doesn't play, but we'll see. But I would kind of expect Strus to be out there. But the important guys, Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, Jarrett Allen, they're all ready to go. They can mix and match the other ones, and I think everything will be A-OK. They're going on the road to take on the Raptors, who come into this game fresh off of a kind of rare win. Guys, they got the 106-103 win there against the 76ers, who were looking terrible. Scotty Barnes had kind of a statement game. I mean, against a terrible team, but I guess he'll take it because those games have been few and far between this season. He put up 33 points, had 10 boards. He was a plus 10 out there, plus 13 there from Quickly. He played well. Grady Dick had a nice bounce-back game, putting up 17 points. So you love to see Dick have some success there. Not a huge night shooting the ball necessarily. They did have an edge on the boards, though, so that looks good. And yeah, in general, they played really, really well, but now they've got the quick turnaround here playing on no rest. So we'll see what they can do. The injury report, maybe not fully updated, but guys like RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Poeltl seem pretty unlikely to be playing. We don't know for sure if these guys are going to be out there. That obviously does make a difference, but I'd be shocked if they brought them back before the All-Star break. That just does not seem like what they're going to do. So looking at the numbers for this game, which also would indicate these guys are not going to play, the Raptors are 13.5-point underdogs at home. We've got a total of 235.5. Cleveland, 15-9 against spread on the road, 28-14 against spread after a win. Toronto, 17-10-1 against spread at home, 6-3 against spread on no rest, 9-7 against the spread after a win. This is a tough spot, guys. I really want to be on the Cavaliers here at minus 13.5. I know that's a ton of points. I know Toronto's been a really tough team to blow out at home. They've been good against the spread on no rest, all of those things, I know. But Toronto's coming off a win. That very rarely happens for them. And it was a close win against a terrible team. Scotty Barnes in a huge letdown spot after having a great game. I don't expect him to see him have back-to-back great games. Cleveland is cruising right now, and I think they're in for a comfortable win here as they get ready to head into the All-Star break. And a lot of their guys go into the All-Star game, so it's not really a break for them. So I don't think we're going to have to deal so much with the idea that these guys have their bags packed to go on vacation. So give me the Cavaliers at minus 13.5. It might not end up in the pin comment, though. Those are very strong trends there for the Raptors, both at home and against the spread. So we'll see. Probably not going in the pin comment, though. Next on the docket, we've got the Detroit Pistons going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls. They are running it back. This is a little two-game mini-series. They're at Chicago. We saw the Pistons put up a 42-point lead over Chicago there in the first half of game one of this series. It was pretty crazy stuff. I believe the Bulls were 0 of 20 from 3 in the first half or something insane. So they brought that number back to something closer to normal, but a horrible night out there for the Bulls, who are looking just terrible. The Pistons obviously played pretty well. Nothing insane. I mean, Cade put up 20 points. We saw Tobias Harris put up 18. Asar Thompson's been scoring the ball better lately. He had 16. Tim Hardaway Jr., a terrible shooting night, only 1 of 6 for him, but he was still a plus 13 out there, and the bench just continued to build the lead. Malik Beasley, a great night, 7 of 10 there from 3. Bro is shooting the lights out this season. He had 24 points. Isaiah Stewart had 14. Just a lot of positives for the the Pistons in a big blowout here. So the question is, will they be able to repeat that? We'll have to see. We're kind of expecting both teams to be pretty much healthy for this game. We don't necessarily expect Lonzo Ball to come back. I would think he would be held out until after he's dealing with an illness, so maybe he'll play, but I'm not necessarily going to be holding my breath and waiting for that to happen. I mean, the Bulls did not have a great time in this game at all. I mean, only a couple guys scored in double figures. It's looking really rough. Like, this is a team that's trying to tank, and boy, are they looking good at it. So I do expect their shooting to come back a little bit in the second game of this one, but they lost this game by 40 points. Like, this is, you got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do to suddenly make this one be within 6. So that's what they need here. It's not looking good. Kevin Huerter looking pretty bad out there since changing teams. And yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not loving what I'm seeing from the Bulls right now. They are getting 5.5 points at home. We've got a total of 236.5. The Pistons 16-10-1 against spread on the road, so a good road team. They're 4-3-2 against spread on no rest, so not terrible on no rest. And they're 11-14-2 against spread after a win. Chicago 12-15-1 against spread at home. 2-7 against spread on no rest. They're 17-14 against spread after a loss, but that's a different team. That's a Zach LaVine led team being much more aggressive after a loss. So I'm going to be on the Pistons here at -5.5. This seems like a trap, obviously, but I think they run this one back. I think they win by at least 10 here against a Bulls team that's just awful right now. And the Pistons need to be winning these games against these bad teams. Like, they want to finish at least in the 6th seed. Wins against the Chicago Bulls will certainly help in that pursuit. Next up, guys, we get the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Bucks 28-24 on the season. They're coming off of a pretty poor showing there against the Warriors. Steph put up 38 points against them, so that probably didn't feel amazing. The Bucks aren't going to be at full strength until after the All-Star break, when theoretically Giannis will be back. We saw Dame continue to play really, really well. I thought he'd have a letdown, but he did not. He put up 38 points in the loss, 21 there from Kuzma, who's looking like a decent addition, although he was 0-1 there from 3. They need him to be able to shoot threes. If he can't do that, like, that lowers his value on this roster a lot. But we'll see what happens. Taurean Prince actually had a massive game, putting up 19 points. Not something you see all the time, but this bench continues to look terrible unless Bobby Portis has a big scoring night. Like, this bench is not great. Or Gary Trent can go off and, make all of his shots. But yeah, not looking great. They shot 30% from 3, 50% from the field, and still managed to lose this game by 14. They did not get, they got out-rebounded by 11 against a Warriors team that's not exactly a monster on the board. So yeah, rough stuff. Loving what we saw there from the Warriors, hating what we saw there from the Milwaukee Bucks. They come to this game. Lillard actually on the injury report now listed as day-to-day. Apparently he's probable for this game, so it sounds like he's going to be out there. Giannis comes into this one. Yeah, still going to be out until, going to be sidelined for the All-Star game, and we don't know if he's going to be back after that. So not going to be the full-strength Bucks here as they go on the road to take on the Timberwolves, who are fresh off a blowout loss at the hands of the Cavaliers. Yeah, Anthony Edwards had a massive game, putting up 44 points, but this season has to feel like such a freaking disaster for him. That whole trade there just not working out. The Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and DiVincenzo trade, disaster. Not as big of a disaster as the Anthony Davis for Luka trade, but a disaster nonetheless. He put up 44 points in a losing effort. The Timberwolves shot 30% from 3. They got out-rebounded in the game. Like, just no pause. Like, no help, guys. Jaden McDaniels, 10 points. Cool. Rudy Gobert, 12. Cool. Naz Reid, 10 points, 4 of 12 from the field. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, 6 points, 26 minutes. He was a -33. So this Timberwolves squad just kind of in shambles in that game. They'll be hoping for a bounce back here against, a weak appearing opponent at least. Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, both on the injury report. Julius Randle, obviously, we don't know when he's going to be back, but yeah, he's going to be out for a while still. Mike Conley dealing with that finger issue. He's questionable. Anthony Edwards with his hip, he's questionable as well. I tend to be a little bit surprised if he sits this game out. It sounds pretty precautionary. I think he'll likely play in this game. In terms of, whether these teams are done after this one, the Timberwolves certainly are not. They've got a tough game there at home, on the second half of back-to-back there on Thursday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We do see the Milwaukee Bucks. This will be their last game before the All-Star break. So, looking at the numbers, the Timberwolves are 6-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 225. Milwaukee, 9-6, 16 against spread on the road, 10-13 against spread after a loss. Minnesota, 8-18-1 against spread at home. That's an NBA worst against spread mark at home. They are 9-13-1 against spread after a loss. I do think this is a reasonable spot to look at the Timberwolves here in a bounce-back situation. I don't love it. It's not going in the pinned comment. Those numbers for the Timberwolves against spread at home are terrible. If the Bucks were decent or getting like 10 points, or if we knew for I don't know. I can't take the Bucks either in this spot. They just aren't good enough. So give me the Timberwolves at -6 as a slight lean, but it's not going in the pinned comment, even though I think it's relatively okay. Rolling right along, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings going on the road to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings come to this game 27-26, winners of their last 2 in a row, so they'll definitely take that. A 129-128 nail biter of a win there against the Dallas Mavericks. Pretty tough Dallas Mavericks team. We took overtime for the Kings to get the job done. DeRozan had one of those games, guys. He put up 42 points in the win. crazy stuff. Kyrie did have 30, so, Dallas was fighting, but Sabonis was 16. It was really just a give the ball to DeRozan and get out of the way kind of game. Zach LaVine did have 17. He played well, but the only reason that the Kings won this game was because DeRozan went absolutely nuts. They shot 34% from three. Not great. We saw Sabonis almost have a triple-double in the game, so that's cool, but not a ton of positives, despite them getting the win in this game for the Sacramento Kings. But we'll see. We'll see what they can, get done here. I mean, they come into this game healthy. Monk, Zach LaVine, DeRozan ready to go. Keegan Murray, Sabonis. The second unit for this team looks pretty weak, though. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas is okay, I guess, but really not a ton of love for me right now for this Kings squad. So we'll see what they can do on the road against a terrible opponent, the New Orleans Pelicans, who just got absolutely shellacked by the Thunder, losing that game 137-101. They're 12-41 on the season. Time to tank things out. Time to think about trading everyone, but apparently that wasn't something they were interested in. Zion had 17 points in his 26 minutes, but yeah, not a lot of positives out there. Trey Murphy continues to ball. He's doing his thing out there. It sucks to see that young guy wasted on this terrible franchise at the moment, but maybe they'll turn things around in the next couple of years. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. CJ McCollum missed that game for personal reasons, so we'll see how that situation develops. The Kings come into this game looking like they should be fully healthy, but we don't know when CJ McCollum's going to be playing, and I don't think they really care if he plays at this point because it's time for this squad to be tanking things out. It sounds like he's, questionable for this game. So there's a chance he plays. Kelly Olynyk out, so, we'll see Zion and everybody, but look at the numbers here. The Pelicans are getting only 4.5 points at home. We've got a total of 238.5. The Kings 10-15-1 against spread on the road, 9-15-2 against spread after a win. New Orleans 13-12-1 against spread at home, 15-24-1 against spread after a loss. I'm going to be on the Pelicans getting 4 points in this one, but just a slight lean. Obviously, I don't trust either one of these teams at all. DeRozan and the Kings are in a big letdown spot, but maybe DeRozan takes his foot off the gas or doesn't have it that night. Maybe LaVine could take over. We'll see what happens, but I don't love either one of these teams at all. Next up, guys, we've got an interesting matchup. We have the Miami Heat going on the road here to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder will be playing their last game here before the All-Star break. The Heat have one more game. So this is the front half of a back-to-back. The Heat will be playing on Thursday. They come into this one fresh off of a real weak performance there against the Boston Celtics, guys. Now, I was expecting, obviously, Tyler Hero doesn't play in that game. Makes a huge difference. Really sucks he was such a late scratch. Hate that they can do that, but hey, what are we going to do? They, got a good game out of Bam in that loss. He played pretty well, although kind of inefficient shooting the ball. Alec Burks got some minutes, 13 points for him. That looks good. Nikola Jovic, not terrible. Duncan Robinson shot the ball okay, but was a minus 18. The Heat shot only 24% from three. Obviously, this team is kind of nothing without Hero, and despite a bad game there from the Celtics, we just don't see the Heat be able to take advantage. Looking at the injury report, Hero is still on there, guys, which is obviously a concern with his illness. He's questionable for this game, but I think he's pretty likely to suit up and play in this one. The Heat are healthy otherwise, so we'll see what they can do on the road against a Thunder team that's now won, 6 in a row now. They just blew out the Pelicans by 36 points. SGA putting up 31. OKC made a franchise record 27 threes in the win, and they are just killing it. So obviously we expect some regression in terms of shooting the ball, but that doesn't even really matter for this Thunder team, guys. SGA putting up 31, Jalen Williams 16, Chet getting back in his groove. He only played 25 minutes, but he played well. He had 6 rebounds, was a +5, had 5 blocks, so his defense immediately making a huge impact. Hartenstein playing well. He was a +24 in his 22 minutes, so nobody even playing a heavy minutes load. And Aaron Wiggins continues to just kill. The bro had 24 points and was a +25 coming off the bench. Killing it. So loving what we're seeing from the Thunder right now. They come into this game relatively healthy. It appears Chet Holmgren probably going to sit this game out for rest. Yeah, it appears, he is going to sit this one out. So no Chet Holmgren, but other than that, they are healthy. And they're big favorites here, 12.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 218.5. Miami, 10-17 against spread on the road. 13-12 against spread after a loss. The Thunder, 18-8-1 against spread at home. That's an NBA best home mark. They're 26-24-2 against the spread after a win. I feel like that number is definitely wrong, and I wrote down the wrong number. But they're very good against spread after a win, no doubt about that. So looking at this number, minus 12.5 seems like a big number, but I am going to be siding here slightly towards the Thunder. They've been so good against the spread at home. The Heat, we don't even know if they're going to be at full strength. And while this Miami team, has a lot of determination, they just don't have the talent to really back it up against an elite level team like the Thunder. So I think OKC probably going to cool off a little bit, but if they shoot 35% from three, they're still going to win this game by 20 points. So giving the Thunder to get the win and cover at home. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Phoenix Suns going on the road to take on the Houston Rockets. The Suns come into this game, well, they're actually currently playing right now against the Grizzlies. The game's gotten a little bit tighter. Memphis is still up 95-87, just going into the fourth quarter right now. So we'll see what the Suns can do there. The game before they lost against the Nuggets, game before that they beat the Jazz, but they really haven't been having a great time recently. They've been relatively healthy, but that has not mattered for Phoenix. Bradley Beal's been missing time. We don't really expect him to play in this game necessarily. We'll see. Wasn't going to play. Yeah, he's going to be out for the game against the Rockets, so he's confirmed out. So no Bradley Beal, so the bench isn't going to have that scoring punch. And yeah, the starting lineup hasn't been looking amazing either. So not a lot of positives right now for the Phoenix Suns. It's been a terrible, terrible nightmare season, and it's not like they've got an easy game coming up here. They're going on the road to take on the Rockets, who are fresh off a desperately needed 94-87 win there against the Raptors. They really turned things around in the second half in that game, and they needed every bit of it because this team has been in something of a free fall ever since Fred VanVleet went down with that injury. So we'll see what they can do, see if they can get back on track here. A good game out there from Dylan Brooks, 19 points for him, 18 for Jalen Green, but they need more than that from him. Jeff Green coming off the bench played great. Cam Whitmore, a double-digit score off the bench, and Jock Londale as well. So this team has some pieces. They won this game despite not being able to throw the ball in the ocean from deep, only 26.3% from long range, but they crushed the Toronto Raptors on the boards, and this is a team that's going to get a lot better once they get healthy. And speaking of getting healthy, we're going to take a look at that injury report. Van Vliet's still on there. Alperen Sengun on there as well. Van Vliet with that ankle issue. Yeah, he's going to be week to week still. He's out for this game. We don't know when he's going to be back, but it's not going to be until after that All-Star break for sure. The Rockets are on the first half of a back-to-back here, so got to take that into consideration. They do play, on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. Alperen Sengun with his back issue, he's questionable for this game. He played against Toronto, but only played 3 minutes, so clearly that back was not really working out. So I kind of think we'll see him sit this game out as well, which definitely makes this situation a little bit murkier, guys. The Rockets are 6-point favorites here in this one. We got a total of 223.5. The Suns 10-16 against spread on the road. Houston 12-12 against spread at home. 18-13-1 against spread after a win. So that's a good sign, but 6 points feels a little bit steep here. I know the Suns are awful, but they're actually better on the road than they are at home, at least against the spread. They're playing at home, and they have to, finish that game and then travel. So not the easiest spot. I'll be leaning slightly towards the Rockets, I guess, but really not a spot that I love. If we see that everybody's going to play for the Suns here on the second half of a back-to-back, then maybe we have to be, considering taking the Suns getting 6 here. So, yeah, this is one you're just going to have to check back on that pinned comment. We really don't have a great idea of what's going on with this one. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Portland Trailblazers going on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets. This is the second game of a little 2-game mini-series there at Denver. Game 1 saw the Nuggets get the 146-117 blowout win there against Portland. So, yeah, easy work there for Jokic and company. We saw Jokic put up, 40 points, 7 boards, 8 assists. Just dominant stuff. 26 there from Christian Braun. He made almost every shot he took. He was 12 of 14. Yeah, it just feels like the Blazers let go of the rope in that one, honestly. Like, they were down big early and never really made any sort of comeback. They lost every single quarter in this game. So not great stuff there. The Nuggets shot only 32% from 3, so it's not like they shot the lights out in this game. And we, saw Jamal Murray. He played 29 minutes. Like, not a huge minutes night for anybody there on the Nuggets. So pretty good stuff in general for Denver, but Portland kind of fallen off. Not a particularly great night for anybody. 16 points for Denny Edgeva, like that's not great. Anthony Simons, a bad night. 17 points, a -25. 21 points from Klingon coming off the bench. He was 8 of 8 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. So great stuff there. We love seeing that. And Banton guys played really, really well off the bench also. So I guess some positives there for Portland, but you got to play a little bit of defense. Even against guys like Jokic, you got to try and at least slow them down a bit, and that just was not happening. So looking at the injury report for this game, it's not looking great there for Portland. We see Jeremy Grant on there. We see DeAndre Ayton listed as out. Is he confirmed out? Yeah, he's confirmed out for this game. And Jeremy Grant with his knee issue is questionable. I think he's kind of a long shot to play as well. Scoot Henderson also out for this game, so not going to be the full strength Trailblazers. The Nuggets, on the other hand, guys, looking just as banged up, although it was seeming like everybody's going to sit out, and then most everybody played. So we'll see. Neither one of these teams are going to be playing on Thursday, so both of them, this is their last game before the All-Star break. So we'll see what happens. Denver's got Westbrook, obviously listed as out. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. Apparently Jokic definitely going to play this game. Jamal Murray, probable. Michael Porter Jr., questionable with a hamstring, so he might actually sit out. Aaron Gordon, probable as well. So looking at the numbers for this one, it would make me think the Denver Nuggets are going to be at least pretty healthy because they're 11.5-point favorites. Portland, 14-11-1 against spread on the road, 16-14 against spread after a loss. Denver, 15, 10-1 against spread at home, 19 and 14-1 against spread after a win. I'm be leaning towards the Nuggets to get another blowout win here in this one. It seems like the Blazers are pretty much just ready to get out of here, get on to, the All-Star break. Everybody can go on vacation. Everybody can chill. Denver, obviously, a lot of those guys have obligations at the All-Star break. We'll see how that goes. But I expect the Nuggets to be closer to locked in than the Blazers are. Give me Denver minus 11.5 as a small lean in this one. Next up, guys, we've got the Los Angeles Lakers going on the road to take on the Utah Jazz. The Lakers come into this game 39-19 on the season. They are cruising. They've won their last 6 in a row, and the Luka-LeBron pairing looking pretty okay here right out of the gate. I mean, they just got a 132-113 win against the tanking Utah Jazz, so we're not going to freak out about that, but it is pretty nice. Luka putting up only 14 points, but having 4 assists and 5 rebounds. He was a plus 15. LeBron, 24 points. Rui Hachimura, 21. Austin Reeves, 22. If these guys can actually share the ball and share the scoring load like this, things are going to go really, really well for this team until they come up against somebody who has a real legit big man, because the acquisition of Alex Len does not move the needle for me one little bit. So we'll see what the Lakers can get done. We obviously see the injury report crowded for them, something we expect to see basically all the time, but I think most of these guys are going to be playing. Luka with his calf issue is questionable for this game, so there's a chance he sits this one out. No reason to be forcing him to get out there a bunch, here before the All-Star break and all that stuff. Bro needs to be taking it easy. You don't need another calf strain. Austin Reeves with his elbow, he's going to be playing. LeBron with his, always on the injury report, he's going to be playing as well. So we'll see what they can do against the Jazz, who obviously didn't have a great time in game 1 of this little mini series. They shot 30% from the field. We saw all their starters scoring double figures, but none of that was enough. Markkanen played okay, but only 1 of 8 from 3. Jordan Clarkson, he was trying to cook, and it was not looking good. John Collins, he played pretty well out there. I really wish he would have gotten traded. I would love to see him on a contender, but not a ton of positives out there. And they, got kind of crushed on the boards by a Lakers team that's not great on the board, so not loving that. Colin Sexton's still out, KJ Martin's still out, but other than that, it should be the full strength Jazz, who are getting 7.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 236.5. The Lakers, 12-13-1 against spread on the road, 17-13-1 against spread after a win. Utah, 11-12 against spread at home, and 18-21 against spread after a win. The Jazz will play on Thursday, guys. So this is the front half of a back-to-back for them, and that is a big part of the reason I'm taking the Lakers here at minus 7.5. I think regardless of who suits up for them, especially since it looks like LeBron is definitely going to and Austin Reeves is definitely going to, I think this should be a comfortable win for the Lakers against a Jazz team that's got to be just ready to get out of town, take a little break from basketball. Getting your teeth kicked in every night probably doesn't feel super fun. Next up, guys, we've got our second nationally televised game of the night, and it's between 2 teams that will both be playing there on Thursday. We've got the Warriors going on the road in this one to take on the Dallas Mavericks. The Warriors come into this one fresh off a nice win there at the Bucks. Obviously, this is not a tough opponent, but so far 2 games into the Jimmy Butler era, things are looking good with 2 pretty comfortable wins. So definitely steps in the right direction. Jimmy actually shot the ball really poorly in the win. He only was, 4 of 12 from the field, but had 15 free throws, getting an epic whistle there. Must feel crazy to Steph to watch somebody get all the calls when Steph gets no calls. But yeah, Jimmy, 20 points. Steph, another great night, 38 for him. Buddy Hield actually played well. Moses Moody found his shot again, and 13 points off the bench from Quentin Post. He's playing really, really well. So a lot of positives, especially for the Warriors getting a win here despite shooting the ball very poorly from 3, something that doesn't always happen for them. So the injury report looks totally clean for the Warriors, so no worries there. And they're going on the road to take on the Mavs, who are fresh off that kind of devastating overtime loss there against the Kings. A big night there from Kyrie. He put up a 30-piece, but not a lot of help there from anybody except for Clay, who had a nice night. Guys, he was 5 of 10 there from 3, and it'll be interesting for Clay to, play against his old team, but now in his new, home, arena. Dallas lost that game despite shooting 40% from 3 and 52% from the field because they got crushed on the boards. And the Warriors, maybe not a team that's going to crush you on the boards, but they will take advantage of you on the glass if they get the chance. And yeah, it's going to be a problem for the Mavs because PJ Washington listed as day-to-day, Anthony Davis out, Gafford out, Dwight Powell out. They just don't have a whole lot of size left at this point, and PJ Washington, very questionable for this game. The last time he played was back on the 8th against Houston. He played 16 minutes, and now with that ankle, I don't know if he'll be back until after the All-Star break. So, looking at the numbers for this one, we see the Mavs getting only 5 points here at home. We've got a total of 233.5. The Warriors, 15-11-1 against spread on the road, 10-16 against spread after a win, but those are numbers that came in the pre-Jimmy Butler era. Dallas, 15-11 against spread at home, 14-10-1 against spread after a loss. Cool. That's all fine. Those numbers don't matter now that they are decimated with injuries. Guys, give me the Golden State Warriors here at -5. I think this is a great spot for them to try and get this win. I'll be worried about what they do on the second half of a back-to-back, but on the first half here, I think everybody's going to play, and I'm expecting them to play well. So definitely give me the Warriors to get the win and cover. Last but not least, on this crazy, crazy deep NBA slate, guys, we got the Memphis Grizzlies going on the road to take on the LA Clippers. The Grizzlies are playing the Suns right now, like we've been talking about, guys. There's 7.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They are up by 8 right now, so please, Memphis, hold on. That would be a tilter to lose. But they've been playing pretty well. They obviously just got blown out by the Thunder, so this game against the Suns gonna go a long way in telling us what they're gonna be doing here down the stretch. Obviously, we don't have an updated injury report since they're playing right now, so going to have to kind of circle back, guys. I mean, right now it's looking like Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of having an off shooting night. Ja's playing really well. Bane's playing pretty well, so liking a lot of what we're seeing from the Grizzlies. So we'll see what they can put together here on the road against a Clippers team that's been all over the place lately. They're fresh off a 20-point win there against the Jazz. They just picked up Ben Simmons, so we'll see how that goes. That's always been a huge positive for every team that he's been on, right? Freaking wrong. But he got bought out now, so they don't have to pay him the crazy amount that he was getting paid to do nothing. But we'll see what goes on for the Clippers. Zubac, Harden, Powell all had big games there against the Jazz, so good to see them get back on track. They shot over 42% from 3 as a team, so that's all positive. And the Clippers come into this game very healthy. We don't expect Ben Simmons to play in this game, which definitely makes me feel better about the Clippers. Bogdanovic, I think, is a very interesting addition for them. He played 26 minutes there again. Oh, yeah, he hasn't. Wait, what? He is set to make his Clippers debut very soon, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm not expecting big things from him necessarily. The Clippers are 3.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 237. Memphis, 16-9 against spread on the road, 7-1 against spread on no rest. That's an NBA best mark against spread on no rest. The Clippers, 19-9 against spread at home, 17-11 against spread after a win. We see the Clippers are going to be playing here in the on Thursday, so no day off for them in between, and Memphis will this is Memphis's last game until the All-Star break. So I'm actually going to be leaning here slightly towards the Grizzlies, despite the fact they're playing on back-to-back nights. But we need way more information about this game, and also I think I'm worried about the Clippers not being super motivated. Just going into the All-Star break for these veterans just seems like a weird spot. So slightly lean towards Memphis, but gotta wait and see on that entire injury report. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck, and if you want to have a chance at winning one of these hoodies, we got to get this video to 1,000 likes, and we'll be giving away a hoodie. Same thing, hit that subscribe button. If we can get to 50,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away another hoodie for that as well. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in buying a hoodie, and I'll see if I can make that dream a reality. Let me know anything else you want to ask me about this slate. I appreciate you all watching. Click that link in the description to get over to stumpthespread.com, get on that free email list, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.